All right. So we have one of my clients and good friends, Kristine Lees, and she sent me a message this morning just with some things that she's facing. And I thought it'd be a good idea to turn this into a coaching opportunity for more than just her, because I think that it's pretty normal, some of the things that she's feeling. So Kristine, you said, you've started, just to lay the foundation, you've started a business and you are an entrepreneur. You had and still have another business as well, a multi-level or network marketing business. And but this is in wellness, and so there's no built-in marketing for you. You kind of are creating this product yourself. You're putting all this out there, and you're doing a really good job. I will tell you that there are people that come to me and say they notice the growth that you've had. So I wanted to give you that compliment on camera. Yes, soak that in. But tell me a little bit about just when you have these thoughts, what happens? In spite of everything that you've done really well, what are the stream of thoughts that you have?
Well, the stream of thoughts would just be some small thing that triggers me. And then it is, this isn't going fast enough. How are you possibly going to make money at this when you're maybe doing a course for $5? How are you going to make money doing that?
Right.
Look at all the time you're putting in, and you're not getting anything in return. You've invested all this money and you've got nothing to show for it at this point, other than, some of the numbers. It's just that kind of stuff. It's the stuff that's not productive in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
But, it's truth in that I'm not making money at this point. So it's there's truth to it, but yet it's covered in lies. So
I think I love that you said that. So let's just sit on that for just 1 second, that the things that you're thinking are not lies. They're not false.
Right.
So the fact that you are in the beginning of your business, that you're not making money, you're not really making money right now. You're in the process of investment and figuring out what you want to offer, how you want to do it, that sort of thing. And that, you're spending a lot of time doing things, but you don't necessarily have all the results, the traditional results that you would think,
that's a good, yeah.
Other people would know what's going on, and you would look in your bank account and you could see it. And I want to also take a second to say, when you talked to me or wrote the message to me, you were thinking about financial things and feeling a little bit stressed, just kind of feeling like, I'm a great. Yeah, that was the trigger. So most of the time people have triggers like that before they start their thought process. And what I said to you was, this is your vision, and that if you want something to change, you have to change your vision, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And then what sparked this conversation was you saying, I get it. I get what you're saying, but I almost feel like I need language. And I loved that you said that, because it is like speaking a different language. It's like living in one country and you know the language in that country. And then you're going to a new place. You don't live there yet, but you visit there. And every time you go there, you kind of have this feeling like, I don't speak the language here quite yet. Can you relate to
completely? I might be able to say hello and goodbye and order some food. That's about it. No.
Yeah. And you have good days there where you think, I belong here. I belong here. And then other days where you feel like today, where you feel like, I don't belong here. This is not my home yet. And so the two, just so that people understand, the one country that Kristine feels really comfortable in is her present. And it's not a bad place, but it's not where her vision is. Her vision isn't necessarily in this location where there's always money in the bank, and every action, you understand the outcome, and you always know what you're doing. That's what the place she's comfortable. Yep. Yeah. Now, the other country where she is going to, she's learning to live there, she visits there, that whole thing, is a thriving new business in which she is investing time and money in every single day. So when she goes to that place and she looks around and she uses the language from where she is normally, she feels out of sync. Like, and that's when you feel like an imposter. You feel like, I do not belong here.
Very true.
And in that vision, there are other people that are making money and
they're speaking the language.
Yeah, they're speaking the language and you feel like you need an interpreter. So what she did that was so brilliant is she said to me, I'm her interpreter. So she said, give me some language. So this is going to be a really quick exercise. So the first thing that you need to know, Kristine, is that this is the process of moving to a new place. That you literally need to say, well, where am I right now? Am I in my normal, or am I in my visionary space? That's the number one. Because you can't really be in both and feel comfortable. So you're in the process of moving right now. And the things that you thought were the components of success are changing. You're choosing to change them so that you can have this new opportunity. Right?
Yes.
And the trigger that makes you feel uncomfortable is something that is from your present, the place where you are in the present. So that's the first thing that you need to know, noticing, going, wait a minute, now what criteria am I using? Am I using the I'm building a new business criteria, or am I using the I'm an employee, I have an established business criteria? Which one is it?
Right, exactly.
So once I pointed that out, that helped a little because you started to see, yeah?
Yes.
So language, the other thing that you need to know, so that's number one. Number two, you need to know that whatever you see is vision. So if you see some of the things that you think like, this may never work, how am I ever going to figure this out? That's looking down the road and seeing the possibility of failure. And that is a vision. You are looking and saying, well, what if I don't have what it takes? What if this is not the right thing for me? What if I never figure this out, or it takes too long to figure it out? That is vision, as much as what if I finish the year super strong? What if by this time next year, I figured this out and I'm offering multiple courses? What if this is just the beginning of an amazing opportunity? What if my kids get to be part of my legacy and one of them starts to participate? That is also vision. So vision is a choice. It feels fluid, like you don't have a choice, but vision is not like your heart beating. It's not the same thing, right? Your heart doesn't have a choice. You stop your heart beating, everything's over. Vision is more of the vision is flowing through. You have to see something, but you actually get to choose what you see. So in the beginning, like going to a new country and learning the language, you're going to feel really uncomfortable. But you have to say I believe the language you should say is just the opposite. You just go, when you say, well, what if this thing never makes money? And you say, well, what if it does?
Right.
If you say, well, I'm only making $5. Well, if someone would pay $5, they'd pay $10. You know?
Or 500 people, it's 500. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
So now you're starting to think in that language, that new language, and you're starting to have that conversation with me because you're starting to think, okay, this is kind of what it is. So you have to, number one, choose what the criteria for success is. You have to have that. You should write it down. It should be new people signing up. It should be new products and services that you're offering. It should be new information, new ways to do things. As long as those criteria are being fulfilled, then you're successful right now. Now, 10 years from now, it's not going to be enough.
Right.
So there is a time coming. There is a reckoning where you're going to have to decide, is this a business or a hobby? Because a business does make money. But right now you're in the positioning of creating opportunities to make money. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. It's so interesting how the mind, for me, I mean, like last week I had 19 people join my, all these great, wonderful things, like I told you. And then today, you look at this.
You look at your bank account.
And it's like, oh,
yeah.
It's just amazing how it's so easy. That's one thing that I wonder for people who are really on the other side, in the other country, is it how easy is it to slip back? Why is it easy?
I think it's for everyone. When you're in the change, it's easy to slip back. And to be honest, it may never change. I mean, I can work out consistently for a year and very easily in the span of 3 weeks slip out of it because there's so many things that want my attention. Right. I do think that you do get stronger, Kristine. You really, really do. So let's say my metaphor of working out, let's say I did stop for 3 weeks. When I come back, I still have strength. I still had that investment of working out every day. And so I have the same thoughts that you do. I really do. I have some serious conversations with God when things aren't going my way. But I also don't feel comfortable anymore living there. I don't want to.
There's a difference to just visit for a little bit. That's what my goal is to just have a little appointment.
Yeah. Yes.
30-minute little check-in and then to move through it, because it takes up the old me. I would say 6 months ago, this would have ruined my whole day.
Right.
It would have just completely consumed my day. Now, at least, I'm like, okay, I'm showered. Let's start cooking and working on what I need to do. You know what I mean?
So good. And that shows progress. And every single thing you're saying is a component of visioning in a positive way. Everything that you're saying, when you remind yourself of success in the past, when you look at other people and say, I know I can do that, when you get excited about little things, those are all part of the vision that I'm making progress. This is worth it. These are my criteria for success, and you'll make it. But here's the thing that I know is that you may always, this problem, this thought process that represents a challenge for you is not going to be the same challenge 5 years from now. You're going to have a new one. Mm-hmm. So that's all that it is. It's not that there's not always going to be something pulling you backward, and there's always going to be something pulling you forward.
Right.
It's necessary to have both. I mean, gratitude comes from understanding the good and the bad.
Right.
Like, it's not about, we're not in utopia. So I really don't like coaches and speakers portraying this visionary life as something without stress, because I really don't buy that. I don't buy it at all. There's always stress. We're human. And so I think you did the right things. Number one, you said, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Sometimes people don't even acknowledge that's what they're thinking. So when you acknowledge what you're thinking, then you can see, okay, there's some lies in there. There's some truth.
Right. But then it's like, how do you work through that? Because, I know that you've always been a person, you acknowledge it, and then you
rewrite the story.
Stuffing it. Because if you stuff it, then it just keeps.
Oh, when you stuff it, it's like planting a seed.
Right.
I mean, really, it's like saying, oh, you know what? I think I want this to stick around. I'm going to stuff it in the ground, and then maybe it'll grow something. So you did acknowledge it, but two, you reached out to me. Mm-hmm. So you reach out to another visionary and you say, look, this is what I'm thinking. Someone who's not judgmental, someone who understands how hard it is. And you did that, and that was good. And then you realized what you needed, because I could give you 100 things, but when you decide what you need and you ask for it, then you are in the process of visioning. And then as we had this conversation, you took over your own thoughts.
Right.
So it wasn't me planting something. So I think you are a really great visionary. I think that you've made a lot of progress. And I think that you are learning to speak the language in another country. I think that's really what
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And I think I'll continue to utilize that, because I'm thinking, well, yeah, like when you're in another place and you can't speak the language, how do you ask for directions? You got to go to a book and it tells you how it works, and then you figure it out, right? I mean, I think that people want to just go fly into a new place and then assume that they're going to know how to do everything. And I would be discouraged too. I would be like, well, this sucks. I like the other place. At least people understood me. At least I felt like I belonged. So Kristine, thank you for allowing your life to be a teaching moment, because I think that helps a lot of people.